Welcome back, Shop Rats. Today, we're back on Scoops, our 73 Dodge Dart Swinger. That exhaust sound that you heard was a popular sound many years ago, but as I've aged and I enjoy riding with my wife in a car and she wants to drive the car, and those things are really loud and obnoxious when you're going down the road. And I have other loud and obnoxious cars, so today we're going to change the tone of this to match more like our 69 Charger project that's over in the other garage. So why don't we just watch the show intro so you get an overview of some of the projects we've got going here, and then we'll see you in about 27.3 seconds. Right on the other side. Don't go away. You're going to want to see this. I'm Mike, and this is My Car Shop.
Working out of a 100-year-old refurbished barn, bringing 35 years of experience to projects considered beyond repair. Vision, creativity, and problem solving are essential tools in this place. Watch as we transform junk into polished metal miracles. This is My Car's Shop.
A couple of months back, I happened to find a good deal and I happened to have some cash, and I went ahead and ordered the mufflers for this car, but the weather's been so bad and we've been so busy on fabricating for the last 2 months on stitches. You've seen all the work that we've done over on that playlist and that project. If you haven't, go check it out. Anyway, I just hadn't gotten this car in the shop, and I knew it was going to be kind of a challenge to work on it in here with the Challenger on the rotisserie eating up so much of this main shop area. So it's beautiful out today. It's in the 70s and I'm a little overheated, but we're going to get the mats down on the ground, get this car jacked up, and get these cherry bombs taken off and put on the new mufflers that I bought, which are this set of super turbo DynoMax mufflers, part number 17733. This is the same mufflers that Joe put on the Charger. Really like the sound. I'm not so sure that they might not be the same mufflers that are on the 47, although I don't think so. They were a super turbo, but they were installed by a local exhaust shop whom I had custom do the exhaust on that car. And I don't think they're a DynoMax dealer. I really like the sound of these mufflers, and we're curious what this is going to sound like in comparison to the Charger. Now there's a couple of things. Scoops has a much bigger cam than the Charger does, but the Charger has two things that are different. It's a big block, it's got a mild cam in it, and it has an H-pipe. So we don't know what it's going to sound like, and both Joe and I have talked that we're pretty curious to see what this cammed up small block with a 284 450 lift on 110 lobe center cam is going to sound like. And the other thing I'm realizing is I'm still short of jack stands, and Dave, I know you said I had a set you were going to donate to the channel. I really need to get with you and get those because this is becoming rather inconvenient. Looks like they're going to be pretty easy to get off of there, and I'm glad that they are the pipes are over the or the mufflers are over the pipes. Makes it a lot easier because we can just take a cutoff wheel and slit that. And the hanger is right there. I think we're going to be okay on this one, not having to hang the rear end down on the suspension. Some cars you have to hang the suspension down in order to clear, but I think on this one we're going to be okay. I'm hoping we can snake that in and out of there without having to take the tailpipes off. That's my goal. We'll see if it happens. It's always worse than you expect, so you might expect some rooster crows in this one. As with most projects, figuring out how to get something apart the first time, I should have been more aggressive in cutting the ends of the pipes open. No, for the other side. So I mucked up the end of this pipe a little bit, learning, not bad. And the tailpipe is fine. I learned enough on this one, so hopefully we can get we'll get it to seal, no big deal. Even if I have to cut it off, put another trunk on there, we can always weld a piece on, but you know, that's all part of it. Just exhaust is always a pain in the butt when you don't have a hoist. So it's on my list, but I don't have enough shop space for everything, but we'll figure it out, you know. But I would love to get a hoist in this place. Alrighty then, we've got our collector hooked back up now. Got the jack under there to hold the pipe up, and I think we're ready to put the muffler on. And I think the nice thing about this is going to be that if my thinking is correct, and I'm sure it's not, one thing we can do is get the muffler on in the proper position, clocked properly, take the collector back off, and then slide it all back into the tailpipe. That may not work, but that's what I'm thinking, and we'll see. So once I felt I had that close to being clocked properly, I jammed the pipe up against the floor, and I may need to turn this a little bit. I don't have it in there all the way. I always make a mark on how much insertion I want. Can you see that on the pipe right there? There's a mark right there, so that I know I got enough engagement. And I think we're going to be okay. I think it's going to need to clock down just a little bit because that pipe is a little bit high right now. But it's just kind of the nature of it. You just kind of wiggle your way into it. I get things clocked where I want them, and then I'll put a mark on the pipe and on the muffler so I know that my orientation is proper before I drive it all the way on there. That way I don't have to try to take it back off again, especially being as I mucked that pipe up and bent it. And I'll make sure I don't do that on the other side, but live and learn. Okay, so it's back out now, and we've got things kind of clocked here the way I want them, and we'll get that popped in there. And if we have a leaking issue here, we'll just weld that up with the TIG welder, but not worried about that really, and I won't make that mistake on the rest. But I just got to drive that on there, which because of that, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. I did go ahead and stretch this just a little bit. I'll try to remember to show you how I stretch it on the other one. I forgot to do that. Well, I got to stretch this end anyway, so we'll show you that. But I think I've got that pipe clocked pretty well now, so we should be able to drive that on there, and then hopefully we can get the tailpipe put in there. All right, we're lining up good now. Muffler's a little bit twisted, but so am I. Tailpipe is back in. I had to cut 1.25 inches, I think, out of the tailpipe to get it to fit. It was just too long, and just got to tighten the collector up, and I need to put that clamp back on the collector as well. Eventually what I want to do is get this up on a hoist somewhere and just tack weld this exhaust system all in place. But for now, I'll just leave it like this, and we'll get it to a hoist and get it done, or take it to a muffler shop, or I don't know, something. Just that'll ensure that everything stays in place. But I want to drive it a little bit, let it settle in, and make sure we don't have any obnoxious rattles, because it's always the case on these things. Okay, I'm about as ratty as can be, but one side is all hung down there. It swings nice and free. It doesn't bang anything. Oh, I was going to show you the piece that I cut out. I cut this much off of the tailpipe. There was no way to get that thing in there without it being cut off, and it fits in nicely now, and everything is, and it's just hanging loose until I get the other side done, and so forth. I'm gonna just leave it hang loose so that we can fire it up and just see where things are at before we start clamping it down, and probably drive it for a little bit like that, as I said, and then either pull it in here and weld those pipes up myself, or take it to a muffler shop and get them to go just spot weld everything in place once everything is lined up good. It would charge me probably $50 to do that or less, and it'll be worth it. But I want to make sure we don't have any rattles and bangs and leaks and, just stuff. I mean, I could do it myself, but I forgot to tell you what I was going to say also is I learned on that side. So on this side, we are going to do things a bit differently. We're going to remove the tailpipe first. Then we're going to remove the collector. Then we're going to see if we can just get the whole pipe out, remove the muffler, put the new muffler on, and, just stuff like that. So the first side, every car's different, so you do what you can, but that's what I learned on that side. So we'll find out whether or not doing it that way on this side is easier or a mistake, because you never know. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you or not, but it's worth mentioning. Of all the things to work on a car, exhaust is probably the thing I hate the most, just so you know that. And I also know that it is like, I know how to do it, but it's like 80% attitude. And, well, I have an attitude. It's just really, really, really bad. Score 1, that came out. So the rest should be fairly easy now. And I think, if I'm smart, I'm going to put a mark where parallel is on that pipe so I can get the muffler lined up a little bit closer before I pull it out. All right, got it out of there. Be a whole lot easier to do this here than down under the car where I tried to do it before. So should have thought it through, but I didn't. So there you go. Let's see what we can do to get this apart. One of the things I mentioned I was going to do was show you how I stretch the pipe. I take a piece of this static size exhaust pipe and I just put it in there. This has got a little bit of a mark on it, so we'll definitely need to do a little work here. And try not to use a hard face hammer. I put it in there a ways, which this one is not going in very well. And then I just take and pound it like that. Yeah, let's try again. So this one's got a little muck on it here. So I'm going to take one of my body hammers and just kind of pound that out of there a little bit. This must have got dropped. So all I'm trying to do is just give it some lips. If a guy had a exhaust pipe bender, don't really want to use that hammer for this. I don't really like using this one either, but there we go. Okay. So now that I got it in there, I pound it a couple different directions, and what I'm doing is just stretching out this pipe a little bit. Okay, now hopefully we can get that back out of there. Okay, now that we've stretched this just a little bit, and you can see it's a little mushroomed. It's got some lips. See if it fits over this now. Fits over nicely, so it'll go right on there. But what I'm going to do is not steady. I'm going to just take my die grinder or my grinder, just go around that real quick and just clean that up so it slides in there easier. The other thing I did was just go around the edge of this to give it a little bit of a chamfer. And I forgot to line out where that needs to go under the car. But it'll go in there now. So I'm going to put my line on there like I talked about before. About minimum insertion where I want it. As soon as I get a marker, we'll get that done. And then we'll flip it around and we'll work on putting the tailpipe in to make sure that fits properly. And we'll go from there. Okay, no action required on this thing. That slides right in nice. So it would be nice if I had even one of those. I used to have one. You'd use an impact gun to stretch the pipe out. It broke 20 years ago and I never bothered replacing it because for the most part I've just taken cars and gotten the exhaust put on. This one had new exhaust on it. I figured it wasn't going to be too bad to get apart, and I thought I'll go ahead and save the money and just put these mufflers on myself. So that's what we're doing. And all right, we need to go put that pipe back under the car and then fit the muffler in like we did, get the tailpipe in, and then it's all done. We'll just have to finish it up. Passenger side is now in place. It fits phenomenally well. I just got to go through and put all the clamps in and tighten everything down. Tailpipe is on back here, and it's all looking good. So it's all done. We just got to finish it up. So we'll throw a bunch of clamps on there, and yeah, we're done. Woohoo! Well, it's back down on the ground. Let's see what we've got for an audio sound now. Audio sound, not a visual sound, just an audio one. Keep that in mind. Sounds phenomenal. So I'm going to go wash off some of the man gravy here, and we're going to take this for a spin. Wow, what an incredible difference. You can hear the cam. Just it sounds awesome. The idle's a little bit low, but this thing hasn't been running for months, other than start it up, move it out of the way, so I'm sure it's loaded up. Oh, it's just no... And part of it is I'm getting drum brakes. Makes a nice pull. Part of it is I'm getting hard of hearing in my old age, and so that's definitely part of the problem. Oh, it sounds amazing. Woohoo! So happy with it. Oh, let's close the window so you don't get that noise. There's enough other noise in this car. I gotta remember to fix that steering column. Woohoo! 90 mile an hour. Flooding out a little bit. I wonder with those mufflers, a little bit more back pressure, if maybe that secondary is coming on a little strong now. We may need to back that down a little bit. But it was nice and smooth, that's for sure. I did feel, like I said, a little bit of flutter when the secondary kicked in, then it straightened out. And then right at, I don't know, 5,500, I don't have a tack in this right now, but it was starting to break up just a little bit again. So we'll see. I mean, we haven't driven it since, I think I've driven it twice all winter, so. But yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Oh. Smell something burning. I'm hoping it's those mufflers. Or a grass fire. As long as the car's not on fire. Stinky. I have my fire extinguisher in here. That would suck. Hey, we got new mufflers. Burn the car to the ground. It's just unbelievably peaceful now. It's not that ringing, droning sound that would hurt my ears so bad. And I know a lot of that is my ears. Like I said, I have some hearing damage. And there are certain frequencies that are really aggravating. But Becky and I will be able to go for a ride in this now, and we can talk. This may be the vehicle we take to the No Name Nationals. We don't know. I got some other things in the works, but, you know, top secret, hush, hush. If I told you, well, you know, then you'd know. And if you knew, then I wouldn't have to tell you, so I'm not telling you. I really couldn't be happier. Almost makes me want to put the air conditioning in it. This was an AC car. I've got most everything for it. It'd be better to have it installed and using it. I don't have engine brackets for this, but I got the pump and the lines and all that stuff. So yeah, maybe we'll think about that, especially if we're going to take it to Missouri. That would be nice to have the AC in it. The only thing that concerns me about taking it to Missouri is this 7 1/4 rear end. I've not been easy on it, so I don't know how much life this rear end has left in it. I would love to throw the 8 3/4 in it, but that means a different drive shaft and a whole bunch of brake work and just stuff. And I don't know if I feel like tackling that kind of a project and then taking off for, you know, a 1,200 mile trip. So 800, 1,200, 10,000. I don't know. It's a ways. Since we got it out, I need to get some gas, and might as well run into Wally real quick and pick up a couple of little things. So, it's just, wow. It opens up a whole new dimension of enjoyment with this car. It's fast. Sounds great. Gas mileage is actually not bad as long as I keep my foot out of it. And, yeah. So definitely, I won't be driving it to work, unfortunately, because with my situation at work right now, I may have to take off at a moment's notice to go service a customer. I don't trust this car that much, but Becky could drive it to work. She's only got 7 miles to go, so I might have to hand her the keys today, let her just shoot down the road and have a little spin with it. Go for a putt. Except I gotta fix the seat. The seat doesn't move and she can't drive until I fix that. Darn it, I keep forgetting that. Guess I better take care of that. Just picked up a little rattle in the tailpipe. Didn't have any until now, but this is the first I've idled it, which is why I don't tighten everything down 100%. Give it an opportunity to just kind of center itself in place, and we can go back and tweak it. We'll drive it for a few days though, see what happens. All right, I'll be right back after a brief word from nobody. Well, her again? Could have told you that. Nice Sunday afternoon in town, not a lot of traffic. Got my gas, got my shopping, just gonna buzz the gut here real quick and then shoot on home. It is nice to have a car back on the road, not that it was ever off the road, but gave it a drink of the good stuff today. So I bought like $700 worth of gas and got 2.6 gallons. Nice. Small town America. America. It's actually quite quiet. Usually it's busier than all get out here. Just see a strip like this and I want to go home and get the Pro Street car and like do a big burnout all the way down here. Appreciate it, son. These mufflers are exactly the right ones. I love the sound of them on your Charger, and they sound great on this, so perfect. You made a good choice there. Next thing that's going to be a problem is this thing is so quiet and so quick. I'm finding myself like 10, 20, 30 miles an hour over the speed limit without even realizing it. So, yeah. But I'm happy. Like I said, I think Becky's going to enjoy driving it. It's got the typical Mopar wander. I think those lower control arm bushings are probably deteriorated from age again because they don't last forever for some reason. And we'll need to get those taken care of because, well, I mean, if you think about it, it's a 1973, and I think Brad replaced them. You tell me, buddy. Early 2000s, maybe, and so late 90s, early 2000s, and so it's the same gap of time that they would need to be replaced again. So. Especially with aftermarket stuff, doesn't last. So I noticed the wheels are doing this and it's doing the wandering, and it never used to do that. Of course, these tires don't hold the road as good as the other ones did, but still. I'm going to just stop right here. There's nobody on the road right now. We're not going to do a burnout, but we're just going to do just stuff. that's what we're going to do. Wow, that thing's pulling. Whoops. Shifted into neutral. That wasn't good. But man, oh man, when that secondary kicked in, it wasn't a steady, it wasn't like a hit real hard, but it was just a steady, hard increase until it started breaking up. And I'm guessing it's probably breaking up because that coil that's on here needs to be replaced. I've got a new one, I just ain't put it on yet. So we'll get that coil changed out. But wow, that was impressive. Just when you're wide open throttle, like in second gear, don't shift through drive into neutral. That's not a good thing. But the oil pressure's still holding good at 55, 60, so didn't hurt anything, but I hate that when that happens. But yeah, I was pulling. I can't imagine what this thing would be like with a 323 or a 355 gear in it. She'd be quick. I bet she'd be right down there in the 14-second range. So it's strong running 318, that's for sure. Well, that was fun. Good old Scoops. She's purring down the road, nice and quiet, fun to drive. We'll get that front end taken care of. We're going to get that steering column taken care of, and I got to put a fuel filter on it and a few other things, but it's probably due for an oil change too now that I think about it. But anyway, it's going to be a fun summer driving that car, and looking forward to that. So I think that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for everything. Thanks for being here. Comment, like, share, subscribe, all of that stuff. Hit the bell so you receive those notifications. We're on the Face thing. We're on Instagram /MyCarShop. And one more thing. Don't forget, it's important.